Welcome to another edition of the Pack Scout. This insight section is going to be looking at a strategic assessment of the importance of innovation versus step change improvements. It's part of a series that I've been working on with my good friend David Marinak, and the focus of it has been how do we better engage with consumers? Where are the opportunities for growth? What are some of the strategic things that companies can bear in mind these days in the packaging industry? When it comes to innovation versus an incremental change, one of the reasons to have this conversation is that there's about a 70% fail rate of new products. They don't last the year. And that's hundreds of thousands of products. There was something like 160,000 fast-moving consumer goods products last year. 70% of them did not make it through the end of the year. So it's a very busy marketplace. There's a lot of noise going on in it. And if people have a ability to compare or contrast into why they're using it, they will tend to look for reasons to not buy something. And if you are focusing on something that is new or exciting or engaging, it gives it a little bit more chance for consumers to be more likely to buy it. When it comes to innovation versus improvement, what are we talking about? I like to think of innovation as something that is entirely new, that solves a problem or is easy to use or is fun or it does something. But the main thing about it, for true innovation, is that it is something that elevates my life in some way, and I feel like it's always been there, even though it hasn't. So something that is completely new, but even when I'm starting to engage with it, from the first moment I use it, it just feels like it's always been there. That's true innovation to me. Things like Tesla, electric cars, they haven't actually always been there, but it feels like they have. Beyond Meat, creating an entire category of non-meat meat. That again feels like it's always been there, but it hasn't. It's been a very new category. Some examples of the step change. So when you take the volume out of a canister, for example, when you lightweight a bottle, making a bottle out of a new material like paper, it is a exceptionally brilliant piece of mechanical engineering. It is a project that has required a number of resources, and it is something that is still a incredible effort, but it's not innovation. Because all it's doing is it is optimizing what's already in a market. Innovation in this case would be things like the self-heating coffee cups, because they didn't exist and then they did exist. And when they did exist, they gave people the opportunity to have that cup of coffee whenever they wanted it. And that kind of aspect is something that you normally find in true innovation, in kind of market leading innovation. It is something that we as the consumer are able to manage the exact point that we use it, and that enhances the user experience. So I can buy a cup of coffee from Starbucks, but then it depends on how long my journey is or what's happening in between buying it and consuming it for me to be able to enjoy it. If I have a cup that turns hot whenever I want it to, I can define exactly when I have it. It's the same with Robinson's squashed cordial, where it gave people the opportunity to decide exactly how much cordial they had in their water, when exactly they drank it, and it gave them the ability to do that whenever they wanted to. Another piece of innovation that has been a pretty spectacular one was the bento box on the bullet train in Japan. And again, it is a meal that you pull a tab, and when you want to have dinner, you're able to define exactly the when and where of how you engage with that product. Now, one of the quotes that I really enjoy on the subject of innovation is from Steve Jobs. He says innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. Now, a lot of the time, there is this reactive and reactionary way of trying to optimize products, and that is because there is a need to get more product into the marketplace as efficiently as possible to reduce the costs of doing so. And innovation is looking at the fact that the one constant is that everything changes. And to look at that change as an opportunity, to not see it as something that is forcing us into having to rework our production or find savings or kind of putting pressure on us, change is an opportunity. Now, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. So incremental change can get to a stage where you might have an optimized product, but it doesn't necessarily delight or engage the consumers in that marketplace. If you have something that is completely new, there is the opportunity for it to feel like something that they are more inclined to use. One of the biggest aspects of innovation that is very important to mention is that an innovation tends to have a very, very deep emotional connection. So if I compare previous phone producers with the iPhone, there's the very famous Steve Ballmer quote when he said that it wasn't going to work. It was an over-subsidized, very expensive phone that had a weird keyboard and that nobody's going to use it for emails. No businessman is going to use it for emails. Now, this was a difference of perspective because when he was making those comments, he was thinking about it from an incremental change perspective. He was like, well, we have a product that's in the market and we make small, slight changes to it, and that is good enough. What Steve Jobs was doing was saying, from the moment somebody receives their product, their phone in this case, we have an opportunity to message to them. We have an opportunity from them opening the box to make that feel special, so that by the time they've even turned the phone on, they have had this experience and this journey that elevates the use of our products to a next level. And that is the kind of reason why people continue to buy iPhones in the numbers that they do and continue to pay the money that they do, because the cost becomes less of a problem when it delivers this emotional, magnified emotional response to us. You know, we don't think clearly when we are emotionally riding a high wave of elation. So we will buy that phone because it makes us feel good. But if we have to think about why we're going to buy the phone, then we're less likely to buy the more expensive phone. So true innovation addresses needs in new ways. So when I look at a framework for what true innovation is, it's going beyond product features. So how does it change my life? How does it solve my problem? How does it make things easier or better or more meaningful for me? We talk a number of times about occasion, the sense of occasion, the time that you're using a product. And ultimately, any product needs to elevate. It needs to elevate the occasion. Like, so I feel that I am not just consuming a chocolate bar, but I am experiencing a new flavor, or I'm being transported around the world to some exotic part of the world. I want my drink to elevate, not just thirst quenching, but to, again, be a talking point, be beautifully designed, be something that is aligned to who I am as a person or what my beliefs are. The brands and the products that innovate and provide packaging that enhances that elevated status, that is how you get people to buy and continue to buy, because we will want to repeat the emotion and we will loyally follow that emotion. Um, but if you are looking at a purchase from a purely analytical perspective, then it's more likely to end up being something that focuses on those product features and benefits. Um, so it's important to stay ahead of the trends and not to get stuck trying to match fads because fads are too short. You don't have the manufacturing cycle to create products against fads. It's vital to ensure authenticity and transparency because we know when a company is not being entirely honest with us. We know when a product is not delivering how we hoped or expected or feel like we were told it would deliver. So if there's any disconnect between the brand and what it does for us, that leaves a very bad taste in the mouth of consumers, and that will stop them purchasing your product in a heartbeat. But these days, it's not just about the fact that inauthenticity is going to lose you a customer. The problem nowadays is that I will use social media to amplify my negative experience and to call out that inauthenticity. So now I'm alerting loads of other consumers to this problem as well. We've seen a number of PR disasters in the last few years where one person felt like something wasn't quite right or they didn't really like it. However, it was handled didn't quite work out for them, so they complained on social media, and then it became a campaign because everybody else joined in with them and said, "Oh yeah, I really hate it when X happens. You need to solve this problem, Mr. Brand." And that brand is then put into a position where they're having to be defensively trying to communicate with consumers. And once you start being in the defensive, you're not going to be focusing on how do I deliver and delight products to consumers. Using packaging to elevate the brand, the product, the sense of use, the campaigns for it being in our households, and the opportunity to be a billboard and an ambassador for the brand, it can make a huge difference. So consumers seek meaningful products. We don't want to have just endless variations. We want to have something that speaks to us, resonates with us. We want to focus on products and innovations that align with our needs and values. We want to build lasting connections by delivering true value. If we can do these things, then there's an opportunity for innovation or improvement to garner the highest volume of sales. But if I could accentuate any part of this discussion today, the key thing, the really key thing, is work with emotions. Make it something that resonates with us at a personal level and gives us a positive experience. Because if you can deliver that positive experience along with the quality and the brand and all the things that you can normally do with your product, people will come back time and time again. Thanks very much. I hope it's been useful.